listening to Two Vatos Talking, aka TVT Brotalk, a podcast by two dads discussing life's challenges and blessings with the goal to create a sincere community for men. We're your co-hosts, Eduardo and Spencer.
You know, Ed, there's a dicho in Spanish, an expression my dad used to tell me when my brother and I were kids, and it goes like this: Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. In English, an equivalent translation is, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. So tell me, Ed, who are you? Give our listening audience a quick rundown of Eduardo.
Hey, I'm excited to finally get this podcast off the ground and share this space with you and everybody listening. So who am I? I'm a Mexican American. I'm the youngest of 7 children born to 2 Mexican migrants who came to El Paso from Ciudad Juarez back in the 60s. My parents, they were chasing the American dream, and honestly, they lived it. Nothing flashy. They bought a modest home, made a modest living, and raised 7 kids here. After more than 50 years of building a life together in that same home, they both passed away within 18 months of each other.
Wow.
It sounds romantic, and in some ways, it was. But it was also a life full of real challenges and a lot of blessings. So today, I'm a proud single dad of 3 incredible kids. I'm a property owner, a photographer, graphic artist, watercolor painter, a fitness enthusiast, an entrepreneur. I love two-stepping, I like the occasional karaoke, and I'm even part of a nonprofit cosplay group. But more than anything else, the title I'm most proud of is being called a good dad. And as of 2026, you can add podcaster to that list as well. So, okay, Spencer, dime con quién ando. Tell me who you are.
Well, first, let me say, that's an impressive list, right? I like hearing those things. I think all those things that you are, and you only mentioned some of them, I think it's part of this podcast, right? We're always growing and seeking to become the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, like you, Ed, I am also happy to be here to create community with our listeners, whoever and wherever they may be. But I'm a native of the Texas Gulf Coast, going back to when it was a part of Mexico. So I'm an American citizen. I'm a Tejano. I'm Chicano. I'm the son of 2 loving parents, although my dad's no longer here with us, but I think about him every day. I'm a brother, and I've got a really good brother, so I'm thankful for him. I'm a single father of 2 beautiful and intelligent daughters, adults. I'm also a professor and an author, and I try to be a man who's always looking to grow, right? Grow as a writer, grow as a thinker, grow as a dad, and grow in my faith. And now I'm your co-host here on TVT Brotalk. So for me, Ed, this podcast is about creating community for men through storytelling and vulnerability. But how about you take our listeners on a deeper dive on what we plan to cover here at TVT Brotalk?
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 of the big topics that I really want to get into are relationships, finances, and fitness. But more than that, it's about how you actually balance all those 3, how you can be successful and still be at peace. So let's talk about relationships. They're never isolated. They affect everything: your work, your mindset, your sense of security. Good relationships can elevate your life, but they don't just happen. They're always moving, always evolving, and they take real intentional effort to build and maintain.
That's the truth.
And then there's money. You know, we all know that money isn't everything, but let's just be honest. It definitely makes life a little easier. I wish I had more straight-up conversations about finances earlier in life. The lessons you learn, or the ones you don't learn about money, they really shape your future. They become the foundation for you, your legacy, and eventually your children. And finally, fitness, and not just physical. I mean, we're talking mental, spiritual fitness too. But peace doesn't just show up on its own. Finding this balance between your body, your mind, your finances, and your relationships, it's a constant work in progress. So for me, This podcast it's more about life balance. It's about connecting, it's about sharing, learning through simple storytelling, creating a space for other vatos to just talk about the things that they don't get to talk about. A lot of men grow up being told to just suck it up, figure it out on their own. Maybe you had a solid male role model, but then again, maybe you didn't. The goal here is very simple. It's to build each other up, not through toxicity or ego, but through just real conversation, honest and sincerity.
And thinking about relationships, for me, it's something that we're going to come back to. And it's not just romantic, but also relationships with our kids who can be young, can be teenagers, or our adult children. Relationships with our parents, particularly as they age, because those relationships start to kind of flip a little bit, you know? So that's challenging in different ways. Relationships with our colleagues, our friends, and even relationships with strangers, right? People you just meet and you start to get to know, and maybe you develop a friendship. So it seems to me that there's plenty of studies that would back me up that people are feeling more and more isolated than ever before in our history, particularly in this country. And it's leading to all sorts of problems, from the negative birth rate to drug and alcohol abuse to what they call deaths of despair. People need connection, both physical and emotional. And it's true that women tend to do a better job at connection than men. So for me, I want to talk about how men can get better at connecting with the people in their lives. And this podcast is a way of helping out, even if it's just a little bit, but a little bit can go a long way. So in the same spirit, I want to discuss how men can seek out other men and open up about what's going on in their lives. We shouldn't need to just go to the bar and have a few drinks so we can develop that sort of fake sense of vulnerability.
Right.
After all, the word men is embedded in the word mentorship for a reason. Ships are safest when docked in the harbor, but that's not what ships were built for. In the same vein, that's not what men were built for. So let's get out of our safe space and mentor each other. And one more thing. As a professor of literature for over 20 years, I know firsthand the power of storytelling. When you boil it down to its essence, storytelling is about problem solving and learning. So just because you're done with your official schooling does not mean you should stop learning. In fact, you now have the freedom to select your readings and choose your studies. Men should never stop learning and growing, no matter how old you are. Learn how to dance, learn how to build something, learn how to change and be the man you were destined to become.
And let's be clear, we're not experts, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with us on everything. Take what helps, question the rest, and do what's best for your life and your well-being.
That's a great point, Ed. We're definitely not experts. We're just here to share experiences with everyone. So you don't always have to agree with everything we say, but we hope you stick around for the thought-provoking dialogue. And one final point, Ed, who should listen to our podcast?
TVT Bro Talk is a podcast for men. But let's be real. Some of the biggest influences in our lives are women. So to all the moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and friends out there, we invite you to listen in too. And if it resonates, share it with the important vatos in your life, whether that's your son, your father, your brother, or even your neighbor.
Amen. Right? It's called TVT Bro Talk, but don't think of the word in any negative sense, right? These are just guys being real, and we think that the women who listen or the women in their lives would also appreciate these conversations are happening.
Like I said, the biggest influences we got are the women. And so we definitely are not excluding the women for our audience.
Right. And if it's good for the guy in your life, whoever that is, it's going to be good for you too.
So to our listeners, to learn more about Two Vatos Talking, you can visit us at our website at tvtbrotalk.com. That's tvtbrotalk.com. Or follow us on Instagram at tvtbrotalk. And feel free to drop us a line or leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. You can listen to our podcast at podbean.com, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever podcasts are commonly available. So stay on the lookout as we release a new episode at the beginning and the middle of every month.
Ed, it's good to be working with you. We hope everyone listens to our first episode that takes a deeper dive about who we are, because it's all about the, as we said, dime con quién andas. Who am I hanging out with here? And the preceding episodes will explore our biggest influences. We really want people to get to know us initially, develop this relationship. So we're going to talk about our biggest influences, our fathers in one episode, and then another episode, our mothers. Right?
Yeah.
And we'll probably talk about them again in the future as well. But they're going to get their own episodes because they deserve it for putting up with us for so many years.
At least that, right?
Right, at least. And then we're going to have an episode on how to make friends. Sounds simple enough for some people, particularly when you're a kid. But this is also for the men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and beyond, because it gets harder, but it's doable.
And let's not forget about our bro tips, right? So we have a couple of bro tips coming up as well. Again, this is all really good just to build each other up, to mentor each other, and to build the Vatos up around us.
Yeah, and bro tips is just maybe a shorter episode where we just tackle one little thing about, hey, this is how you do X or Y. And it may seem simple, but we could all use a helping hand every now and then to improve on something.
And hey, brother, just before I send it back to you to close us out, I'm really looking forward to the future that we have with this podcast and see where this journey takes us. But with that, looking forward to all the positive stuff that's coming our way.
Absolutely. So, to all our listeners, once again, thanks for tuning in to TVT Brotalk. And hey, Vatos, remember, pónganse trucha.